Hey there. Thanks for tuning in. You ready for another episode of My Bigfoot Sighting? Alright then, let's do this.
Seen a bunch of run-down no-horse towns where the church is the backbone, loves and the plow, and the five-string melodies grooving, with the farmland rows where the roots run deep, beyond the noise of the busy streets, where the songs of the South are soothing. When I hear the front porch picking down, home rhythm ringing out, I don't run from banjo music. Yeah.
If you'd like to be able to listen to the show without ads and have full access to bonus content, that's an option. To find out how, please go to mybigfootsighting.com.
My Bigfoot sighting happened at Salt Fork State Park in Ohio. Hi, I'm Bill Rigby, and I've been a believer since the P&G film came out, but I never really actively researched Bigfoot till about 3-4 years ago when I started noticing structures in the woods, because I hunted all over Pennsylvania, Ohio, even down in West Virginia. And it started dawning on me, I'm seeing these structures. So I started doing some studying on them and trying to figure out what's causing them. And that's when I started putting 2 and 2 together of it could be Bigfoot. I'm not saying for sure it is or isn't, but it's a good possibility. I never really went researching in the woods for it up to that point, and I started going out more where I usually hunt at, and it was getting a little weird. I got to do some more research, so I started on YouTube and Facebook, and I hooked up with a few Bigfoot groups on Facebook and doing research through them. And I got with the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. And I went on a couple investigations with the founder, Mary Fabian, which she has a lot of information up in the files section that I was checking out, putting 2 and 2 together. And we went up to the local reservoir near me with another researcher, Brenda, and we went up there and we're checking things out up around the reservoir. We went into the wood area. We stayed up near the tree line when we went in. And this was 2021, March of 2021. We're walking up through there. We didn't really see much. I saw some movement up in the pines, but I couldn't tell what it was. So we hung around up there checking things out. We come back out. We're walking along closer to the water. And we found a trackway that went for over 100 yards. About a 14-inch footprint. And you can see the toes, everything. And it went up about 100 yards. And then came back when it looked up toward the highway. And came back and went up in the woods, and we lost where it was at. Brenda and I both tried to cast a print. That was the first time I ever did a casting. And that was crazy because I destroyed mine. Brenda's, hers looked good. Once we got it out, it looked good. Turned it over, had a big stone in it. So it wasn't that great of a print after all. So that really got me going. And Mary, Fabian, Debbie Preggy, and I went to this one little farm that had a reported sighting. So Debbie and I start walking up toward the woods, and we found some more prints there. Now, this is a good 20 miles away from where we found the trackway. So that's piquing my interest. And I keep saying, we got to see one. We got to see one. That was at end of March. We kept doing the investigations there in the reservoir, and found more tracks and more structures. And then Mary Faven kept saying, if you want a sighting, you should go to Salt Fork. I'm thinking, well, Salt Fork's supposed to be a hot spot. I'm never going to see one there. Everybody and their brother goes there. I would like to hear the infamous Ohio Howl if I ever go. Well, we turned around. We did several more investigations. We went up to Cambria Springs, Pennsylvania, did an investigation up there where a possible sighting was. And from the pictures and that, it was a huge one. But we couldn't get up on the property. It was private property and posted. We weren't allowed to get up there to where the sighting was, which was a year and a half before. So we can do some comparison and check things out. Well, I get a message from Jack Warren saying he's going to Salt Fork to the Sospeed camp out there. Hey, want to know if I was going. I decided, might as well, go down and see if I can catch the Ohio Howl. And I called Mary up and told her what I was doing. She said, oh, I'll go too then. We got nothing going on that weekend. So we all met up down there at the Sospeed. And Debbie Preggy came. Then Mike Bennett from the Sospeed group. That's the Southern Ohio Bigfoot Organization, researchers or something like that. I always screw that up. Doug Waller is the one that started the group. This is on a Thursday night near the end of August. Mike Bennett comes out, says, let's go take you around, show you some places. We drove different areas. We come back to the campground, and it's starting to get dark. He says, we'll go down to Buckeye Trail right there. I'm game. Debbie's game. We start heading into the trail. Mike says, we'll go 90 paces, stop, check things out, listen, see what happens. We went to 90 paces. We stopped. Some nuts or stones from the left side of us was getting thrown. I'm like, something's being thrown at us. And Mike says, yeah, let's move up. So we move up about another 90 paces. And we had this scope with us. And Mike and Debbie was using the scope. Something started throwing stones or nuts again at us. Not a lot, just a few. And Debbie goes, well, I'm kind of nervous. I really don't want to go any farther. I says, give me the scope. I'll go up 90 paces. And you guys hold back. There's nothing that will come up. So I'll go up about 90 paces. Then I start to kneel down. I'm using the scope, looking down the trail. And then the trail drops off, a big drop off there. And you've got to go down over. And I'm right before it. And so I knelt down and I'm starting adjusting the scope. And out of the corner of my right eye, I saw a little movement. So I turned my head, even though the scope's still facing down the trail. I turned my head, and 15 feet from me was this long, huge, and I mean huge, massive body, big head, staring at me. And he's like leaning in, his hand down in front of him. And I just thought, oh no. Oh no. And I stood up, even though I'm still adjusting the scope down the trail. I'm looking at it, and I can see the muscle tone in his arms, on his chest. There was no neck. It was all big trapezes. I didn't stare into his eyes. I stared at his face. Had the big eyes, got the brow ridge. I call it a boxer's nose because it's a big flat nose. The head wasn't conical, but it sort of round, but sort of conical. The hair was dark brown. The skin was a blackish brown color on the face and that. The hair was about 6 to 8 inches long, hanging down, kind of messed up. When I stood up, it stood up. And I looking at the tree where it stood up at, and I'm thinking, this sucker is bigger than me. A lot bigger. And I'm not afraid of nothing. And I really ain't. And I got the fear of God in my soul at that point, thinking I was dead, because this thing is only 15 feet from me. It can snag me up quick. And I start backpedaling up toward where Mike and Debbie was at. And like I said, it was getting dark. So I'm yelling for them to turn their lights on me. It's here, and I'm backpedaling up to them. And Mike actually did get a glimpse of it. Debbie was watching to the left side because she's thinking it's coming up from that side. And I got back to him. I said, did you see it? And I'm not going to say what Mike said because I'm keeping this G-rated. But we both got a look at it. I got a better look at it. And he seen it as it was going down through the woods down over the hill. And I watched it go too. Now my heart's coming out of my chest. I'm shaking. And I said, let's get out of here. And we head back up to the camp. I went straight up to Mary Fabian's truck where she was at. He said, we just seen one. We just seen one. And she saw the fear in my face and that. So she knows I actually did. And the next day, a group of us decided to go down and see where it was at. We went down to where the tree was, measured up. It was, I'm going to say 7 foot, between 6 and 7 foot tall, because I'm guesstimating where it stood up at. It had to go 400 pounds easily. And like I said, the muscle tones, it built better than a bodybuilder, the size of those muscles. And it moved fairly quick. Now, I've never even heard it move up to that position. So I don't know if it was there or not. If it just came in and decided to catch it, get a better look at us. I don't know. I know I didn't hear it as it was going down over the hillside, but I'm blaming that on fear, blocking out my hearing. But it had that weird gait, but it moved smoothly and quickly down over. So that just instilled in me not just the fear, but 1,000 more questions. Number one was, why didn't it attack me? I was that close. I should be dead right now. And why was I scared? Because like I said, I wasn't afraid of nothing. And that's where I had to deal with the reality of it. We turned around. The rest of the camp out wasn't really much happening. They did find prints down over that hillside, down on the bottom of that trail. You go down to, actually, I was with Mike and several other ones. We walked down there and found 2 sets of prints that went across the trail. So that got us going there. And then that fall, I want to say middle of September, Debbie and I was back at that farm up here in Pennsylvania. We're going back, checking the one area where we thought we caught a glimpse of one, but neither one of us was sure. We knew something was up in there, but we don't know what it was. And we're up in there, and Debbie she likes to travel her way, and I'm going up my way, but we're staying within eyesight of each other and keeping an eye on each other. And if one of us finds something, we call the other over. All of a sudden, I got very lightheaded, very hot, very nauseated. I had to sit down. My knees were very weak. And I told Debbie, I said, something's wrong. Something's wrong with me. She comes over, she's checking me. She says, you're sweating. I says, I know. I don't know what's wrong. It just hit me. And she called Mary, and she started telling Mary Fabian the symptoms and that. Mary goes, it's very possible he just got hit with infrasound. And Debbie told me that, and I'm like, really? I don't think so. I don't know. But she goes, what do you want to do? I said, I got to get out of here. I can't keep going. So me and her walking out, and felt like something was staring us down. That's the feeling I had. I'm not totally sure if it was and that, but I get home. I told my wife what happened, and so I get on the computer. I start doing some research on infrasound. Well, to find out, back in 98, 99, Indiana County, Pennsylvania, I was up in an area called Bear Cave. Went bear hunting with some friends of mine. Now, I was headed south to go down over the hill a little ways, which if I got a bear there, instead of dragging back up the hill, I would clean down to where the tracks was, which is actually about a mile from my place. If you go that route, to get to Bear Cave, it's a 5-mile drive around the mountain. I figured I'll just drag it down the bottom, go get my buddy's quad and haul it out. Well, next thing I know, as I was headed south, I'm looking around. I don't know where I'm at. And I'm all disoriented, wondering what the heck's going on here? What happened? Nothing looks familiar for the way I was going, because I always went the same way when I was up there bear hunting. And this other hunter is walking up. And I asked him, where's Bear Cave Cabin at? He says 3/4 mile to a mile back north. Or not north, but east. I ended up going west. And I still don't know what happened. But I believe that was infrasound too. I got chased back away from an area they were at. Can I prove it? No. So I've been studying that. Ever since then, I've been full-fledged into investigating for the mysterious Bigfoot. I'm not all about the DNA. I'm all about how, why, and what they're doing. I actually started my own paranormal group, even though I'm still an admin in the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. And one of our researchers that goes out different parts of the state, even though there's different chapters that got investigators. I do get out there a lot. I started my own. Agents have done explained paranormal research, which we cover everything paranormal, cryptid. But my biggest thing is Bigfoot. And especially since I had that experience at Salt Fork. I ain't going to say I'm not going to be scared again if I see one. I don't know. But I'm doing as much studying on what and how and why they're doing what they're doing, where they're headed, all that stuff. Which, 1,001 questions. Get one question answered, you got another 1,000. And I'm all about sharing the information we received with others. That's the only way we're ever going to find out about this elusive one and any of the paranormal cryptid. Just sharing the information is one thing, but I keep an extensive list of different sightings. The Mercer County, well, actually the Pennsylvania area and Ohio area. I've been gathering as much information on it as I can, and I get out as often as I can to investigate, even in my area, to as a friend of mine calls it, micro-studying it. That's what we've been trying to accomplish, is to figure out why they're doing what they do. I can almost understand them not wanting to be around people, the way some of these people act, but all in all, why they do what they're doing. Yeah. What's up with the structures, the tree bends, the X's. We all speculate. I got my own speculations on it. I know everything does something for a reason, and I'm just trying to figure it out. My one area that I doing my micro studying at actually had a sighting this spring that came across the road in front of this female that was in law enforcement. She was in her own car. And there was a construction guy in his pickup truck behind her that walked across the road in front of them. She actually pulled off the road and got physically ill. I didn't get the report. A friend of mine took the report. And that was in May of this year. And that was right near where I found that 100-yard trackway, which, something I didn't say about the trackway, the spread on the trackway from toe to heel was 5 foot. That's more than a human can do. Even running, they wouldn't be 5 foot spread like that for 100 yards. I don't care. And barefooted in March on sandy, stony beach. So that just convinces me even more that they're in all areas where people least expect them. And I believe there's more than one in our area of micro-studying, because the different size prints that are being found. On that farm, Debbie and I found 3 different size prints. I don't know if they're using that as a cut through to go into the woods where there's no trespassing, so the deers and all that know it's a safe haven in that area. I'm not sure. We haven't figured that one out yet. And we're still looking at learning more from other people. I am now in the process of March 25th of 2023. We're doing the Penn, Ohio Paranormal Conference. And the Agents of the Unexplained and the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project are co-hosting this. We got speakers. James Krug from Altoona does a Interstellar. We have Ed Kellman, the Ghost. We got Brian and Terry Seach, who's going to be talking about the Dogman, which we've had sightings of that in Mercer County. Jamie and Jenny King, they're going to talk about the local researching they do here in Mercer County. I got Mike Ballament in the Shadow, the Red Eye, coming to talk about his experiences researching Bigfoot. And we have Dan Hagelman going to be doing about aliens. So we're covering all aspects of it. It's going to be kind of a large event. I got a bunch of vendors coming, this great group of speakers. So I'm looking forward to it, even though it's a lot of work, to learn more from all these people. And hopefully we get a lot more information from people that come. So other than that, I'm going to be out there researching. I'm planning on doing a winter camp out at Salt Fork this winter with the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. There was a few of us we're going to go. It's going to be interesting. They were there last year. I couldn't go for a winter one. They found tracks and stuff, so it's a good spot to go. Next year, I got 4 investigations up to the Kinzua area up in Warren County, Pennsylvania. There's been sightings all around the Kinzua Dam area and a lot of strange things happening. Trying to get the answers that we need. If anyone wants to contact me through my Agents of the Unexplained or even on my regular Facebook page, Bill Rigby, you can do that, or through the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. You can contact me, Mary Fabian, on that group. We're all about sharing the information out there and taking in information. If you want to talk about it, you don't want people to know about it, that's fine too. Just let us know. We can do anonymity for it all. But I'm not afraid to say about my sighting. And I hope others ain't either. Because this is the only way we're going to learn and understand.
Well, that's it for tonight's show. If you've had a Bigfoot sighting and would like to be a guest, please go to mybigfootsighting.com and let us know. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.
Seen a bunch of rundown no-horse towns where the church is the backbone, loves in the plow, and the 5-string melodies grooving, with the farmland rows where the roots run deep, beyond the noise of the busy streets, where the songs of the South are soothing. When I hear the front porch picking down, home rhythm ringing out, I don't run from banjo music. Yeah.